Guess who's back again? Hi. It usually takes me like a month in between videos to make another one, but today I'm making one after a week, so yeah, I'm proud of myself for trying again. Today I'm gonna do a video discussing my favourite relationships in series and film that I wish that more people talked about. I'm going to do this in ascending order from least favourite to most favourite, starting with number 10, which is the relationship between Han Seo-jun and Lim Joo-kyung in True Beauty. And True Beauty is weird to say because True Beauty is one of the most popular K-dramas ever, and this relationship is one of the most discussed relationships ever, but I still wanted to add it because it's one of my favourites, and I'm team Han Seo-jun always. With this show, there's so much discourse about which boy she should have chosen. I only agree that Soo-ho could have been a better choice just because the love between them was reciprocated. With Han Seo-jun, Lim Joo-kyung had no romantic attraction towards him ever, even towards the end. So that's why I think that maybe Soo-ho could have been better. But if the love between her and Han Seo-jun was reciprocated, then they would have been endgame in my books. I mean, they still are endgame to me. And one of the reasons that made me love Han Seo-jun so much and made him the better choice for me was near towards the end where her identity without makeup gets revealed and they're sitting in the music room, I think it is. And she basically talks to him and he talks back to her, of course. And he says, "You look exactly the same without makeup. How could I have been fooled?" Like, that is just so stunning to me. And if you look at that in comparison to how Soo-ho reacted, making her do all these tasks, mentally exhausting her, just the fact to even say something so simple like that, to love someone without makeup, is absolutely beautiful. I know that Soo-ho fell in love with her without her makeup, but this is just why he is so endgame to me. Like, I honestly think they should have been endgame.
무슨 말 하려고?
한 거나 안 한 거나 비슷하구만. 뭘 속았다는 거야? 이해를 할 수가 없네.
The next relationship is the relationship between Ren and Goryeo in F4 Thailand, which is the Thailand version of Boys Over Flowers. And I have watched loads of versions of Boys Over Flowers, and in every one I understood why she chose the male lead in the end. But with this one, this is probably the only show where I genuinely think that she should have been with Ren. He was just the better choice always. I just really love the way that Ren was portrayed in this show. If you think about Meteor Garden, the second lead, I think his name was Lei. Yeah, Lei was absolutely awful to Shansai. He was absolutely awful to her. He called her ugly. But with Ren, he always had that degree of respect with her. And one of my favourite scenes that exemplifies why I think they're so cute is, I think, in one of the earlier episodes where Bright's character Time, I think you say Time, I'm just going to say Bright, where Bright's character sees Goryeo and Ren hugging and he gets extremely jealous, full of rage, and he just, crashes out, locks himself away from the rest of the F4 boys, and it kind of just shows him clouded in his own rage and anger. And then it shows what Ren and Goryeo are doing while they're isolated, and they're literally just jumping on trampolines and having fun outside. And like, that is just such a mood to me. Like, I just think about that concept as a whole. Like, imagine crashing out over someone and they're just jumping on trampolines and having fun without you. Like, everything is just so unseriously serious about them, and they're just really good together. Like, I feel like they complement each other well. He's an artist. Everything was nicer with him. So yeah, I think he's the only second lead in a show of about F4 that I would actually really, really wish that they could be together. There's so many memories between Emily and West that I cherish, but my favourite one is probably when he calls her a firefly or a fire fairy. I'm not sure, I've not watched it in a while. But that scene was just so revolutionary to me and so, so beautiful, because that was the scene where she finally found someone who really sees her for what she is and appreciates her for it. He saw her happiness and her anger, her good and her bad, and he loved both sides of it. And I think when you really get to know someone and get to love them, you need to love every version and every part of them, which he did. And he was just such a green flag, so yeah, I really loved that.
I know you think you're difficult and hard to be around, but I just see you as a fire fairy.
The next relationship is the friendship between Gordy and Chris in Stand By Me. And this movie is really the movie that made me want to be a boy and want to talk and have relationships with boys in the way that boys do, if that makes any sense. Not in like a creepy way, but I feel like boys just have that boyishness about them. Like I really hope that doesn't sound like misogynistic or anything, but they just have that vigor and youth, especially in Stand By Me between the four boys, that I really wish I could replicate in my own life. That unseriousness and that joy that they both have. Of course, my favourite scene from the movie is the Am I Weird scene. Gordy asks Chris, do you think I'm weird? And Chris replies, yeah, but so what, everybody's weird. And that's true, everybody's weird. And I just love Chris for that. He's so beautiful as a character, and River Phoenix in real life was one of the most beautiful and stunning men I've ever seen. So, great movie, great relationship.
Do you think I'm weird?
Definitely.
No, man, seriously. Am I weird?
Yeah, but so what? Everybody's weird.
The next relationship that I love is the friendship between Anne and Cole from Anne with an E. I absolutely love watching edits of them, especially that scene where Anne goes to visit Cole and they just run up in a big embrace, twirling around. That in itself is like stimulation for me to go and find a friendship like that, because I've always put platonic friendship above romantic relationships, in my opinion. But these two are just so special with each other. They just exist as one beautiful friendship, and I love that. And I don't know if this is true or not. I kind of blacked out when I watched the show, to be honest, but I heard this online that in one scene Cole said to Anne, if no one marries each other in this lifetime, then I'll marry you. And that is just stunning. Absolutely beautiful, and I need to find someone like that now. But yeah, I think what I like about this show is that it really commemorates this type of friendship as well. There's so many friendships in Anne with an E, the one with Diana as well, and the one with Jerry. And I like that this show puts friendship at the top, and not just romance. Because everyone always talks about Gilbert and Anne, but Cole and Anne are just as special, and platonic friendship, platonic soulmates are just as special in themselves and beautiful in themselves. So I love these two. Next is the relationship between Joon Hyung and Kim Bok-joo from Weightlifting Fairy Kim Bok-joo. Weightlifting Fairy Kim Bok-joo is probably my favourite K-drama. It's number one for me. But this I've put kind of in the middle because there are some better ones. But their relationship is honestly the healthiest relationship that I've ever seen come out of a K-drama or a show. Just so beautiful. The communication was right. Joon Hyung was so cute and so in love with her, and even though it took her some time to warm up to him, when they were together it was so good, and there was never any drama between them, and even if there was, it was funny drama. So yeah, they absolutely are so cute, and I wish they were together in real life still. The next relationship is one that I don't hear people talking about often, but this is the one between Maleficent and Diaval from Maleficent. And their relationship is kind of funny because they didn't come together through friendship or any background or anything. It was more of a reciprocal relationship. You saved my life, now I owe you for the rest of your life. But in itself, there's so much nuances and so much beauty to be found, especially the fact that he stayed with her forever. I know that he did because of, out of favour, but I think even if he did pay his debt in another way, he still would have chosen to stay with her. And he always saw the beauty in her, even before Aurora did, which is really incredible. And he's just so cute as well. Like, Sam Riley just has that beautiful gothic type of vibe around him that I really like. I also just really love and appreciate this idea of two people being connected together and being in coexistence with each other for a long period of time without any romantic implications. This relationship kind of reminds me of Charlotte and Brimsley from Queen Charlotte, which I also really love. I'm such a fan of them. I think Brimsley's adorable. But yeah, I just love this vibe of utter devotion, even when you don't need your devotion to be that big. Like, Brimsley was just a servant, but you really get to grow with this character and learn from them, which I think we see a lot between Maleficent and Diaval. Third in line is the most gorgeous and natural platonic friendship ever, Sana and Isak from Scam. And yes, they are very niche. I know that Scam had a really wide fan base on Tumblr and I think Pinterest quite a while ago, back in the 2010s when it was famous, but now it's kind of died down. And even on the show fan base, not a lot of people talked about these two characters, but they are amazing. The scenes between these two were so funny and so chaotic, and one of my favourite and most important scenes is the scene where they're sat on a bench, Sana and Isak, and they're just discussing why she did what she did in one of the earlier episodes. And what we see here is two very contrasting fears. We see this Muslim girl talking about, you know, her fears and her worries as a Muslim girl in a Western country, worried about other people's perceptions of her and what they will think of her as a Muslim. And then we see this gay guy talking about, you know, his own worries about being gay and worrying that no one will accept him as he is, as a gay guy. And it's very important here because we see two very contrasting people both connecting over a shared fear, and I think that kind of underpins the aim of the show, or at least the aim of season 4 at least, that two very contrasting people who, even if their differences are very different, can still coexist with each other and love each other and have that relationship. So yeah, I absolutely love them because of the memories and the what they symbolize. They symbolize change, especially in this time where Trump was, you know, won the election in 2016 and there was so much segregation. There still is. This show really commemorated and brought together diversity and change, and these two are just such a cute chaotic duo. So yeah, they really made this show better and more funny for me. Coming in second is the relationship between Buffy and Marty in Andi Mack. This being the most crystal embodiment of the type of relationship that I desire and that I would want in life. If someone were to ask me what type of relationship, what type of guy would you want, I would just say Marty from The Party, because it's true. We all need a Marty from The Party in our lives. The show itself, Andi Mack, is so underrated, probably because it came out in the late 2010s and it's Disney, so I understand why a lot of people stopped watching Disney at that time. At least I did. But it was such an underrated and such a revolutionary show in itself. There was so much stuff going on that you wouldn't expect to go on in a Disney Channel show. We had the first ever gay relationship between Cyrus and TJ. We had a lot of talk about mental health, the panic attacks that Jonah used to have. So it was a very mature relationship. I mean, a very mature show. But this relationship is just so cute, so full of banter and flirtations, and just so cute. And I was there since the first day that I saw them together when they met at the party. And I remember that one episode where it was quite a while after the whole thing between Buffy and Marty fizzed out, and the show kind of went on to talk more about Andy and Jonah. And we saw at the end of the show Buffy calling someone, and it was ended up being Marty, and she asked him if they want to talk for a bit. And then it ended, and I remember watching that live when new episodes were coming out every week, and I was gobsmacked. I was so excited to see what would go on in their relationship, and they really gave it to us with a brilliant ending at a party. They met at a party and they left at a party together. But yeah, this relationship, I manifest this relationship in my life.
You were the one who said we should run our own race.
That's what I'm doing.
You want to sit here with me?
No. I want to cross the finish line with you. Come on.
Coming up on number 1 is the most raw and emotional relationship I've ever seen, and I just could not put them on number 1. It is, drumroll, Chen Lian and Bei from Better Days. Better Days is one of my favourite movies of all time, probably is my favourite, and it's a story about high school bullying which ends up turning into a crime investigation. So it's very good but very devastating, and I think the main reason why this relationship had to be number 1 is because he went to prison for her. He went to prison for her. Like, if that is not the... I don't even know how to say it. Not the zenith, the apex, the most highest form of devotion that you could have, then that is it. And that is why it is one of my favourites. he loved her so much that he risked his future for her. But not even that, he gave her a future and he gave her hope. He gave her a chance to make a friend and to have fun, and he gave her a place to stay. And in between it, we didn't just see him saving her from what she did, but he also saw him saving her mentally, in that scene where they're just having fun and they're on the motorbike, and when they dress up as ghosts and they scare the people in the car. So dangerous. I'd be so annoyed if I was the person in the car. But we see that he gave her friendship as well, and he gave her happiness, not just an alibi. So yeah, I absolutely love them, and they're so endgame, and I wish I could say I had a relationship like them, but I don't, because it is nerve-wracking and heartbreaking. But I do wish I had, or that one day I will get to love someone with that much devotion. That's it. I love all these relationships, and I think what inspires me most about these is that they all give me hope. The fact that these relationships exist on camera means that there are people who think like that, and relationships like this outside of cinema. So yeah, it just gives me hope that I'll find something so beautiful and so revolutionary like that in my lifetime.